Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun.
Welcome back to the Stealing Home Show, the most unserious baseball show on the planet, hosted by the best brother-sister duo in baseball. My name's Anthony. I'm joined with my favorite sister, Lisa, also my only sister, Lisa. And All-Star game just finished. A lot's happening. I would say, unequivocally, we're going to be talking about the All-Star game, obviously. We're going to be talking about Rivalry Week. What does that mean? You're going to find out. And we're going to be talking about the Rays, because there's something to talk about with the Rays. And I think no contest, probably the best episode we've ever had.
I mean, I'll have to see the tape when it's over, but it could be. It could be.
What do you mean? Like you won't be in it? You have to rewatch the tape?
I have. Well, no, I just got to rewatch the tape. I got to see our performance, obviously. You know, you can't watch the game when you're in it.
Yeah, this is all theater. This is theater. Before we get into all the meat and potatoes, which I think is a good saying. Someone yelled at me that it wasn't a saying before, I believe. I don't know. Either way, before we get into the show, if you like what you see...
You were not saying meat and potatoes,
I think
by the way. You were saying something else.
I don't know. Either way. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. We do a weekly episode, a weekly show every week. That's what weekly means. And yeah, we also do bi-weekly videos. Lisa's got the next one. It should be coming up. She won't tell me what it's about. Do you want to give us a world premiere or an announcement? Not even a hint.
It has to do with maybe. No, you know what? No, you don't get any.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't. You can't just say maybe.
Stay tuned in.
You can't just say maybe and then not tell us.
Let's say, okay, I'll say this. It's about a subject that is controversial.
That could be a lot of things nowadays.
Yeah. It's actually just about the election. If we're turning this into an election, no, I'm kidding. Obviously,
yeah, we're going. This is not baseball anymore.
There's not enough controversy in this day and age. But yeah, let's talk about baseball.
Now a politics show. All right.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something that makes me happy.
Sweet. Well, let's get into the All-Star game that happened last week. Instead of doing the weekly recap, all there was to really recap, I guess, was that All-Star game. So the American League ended up winning 5-3. You had Jarren Duran from the Red Sox, who I was big on. I don't know if you remember me saying, he's got to be an All-Star. He ends up winning the All-Star game MVP in a game that Ohtani went big fly, made it 3-0. The American League came back, tied it in the bottom half, and then Jarren Duran hit a 2-run moonshot. It was a bomb in the right field in Texas. Ends up getting the MVP. We saw Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge, which is something we all wanted to see. We finally got it, and it was a ground out on like the first pitch.
Yep.
So
it was very anticlimactic.
Baseball can give you some great moments, and then sometimes it can give you first pitch ground outs, and that's.
And remember that when you watch my video on Friday. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. Is this how it's gonna go? Just little seeds throughout the whole entire episode. I like it.
Little seasoning.
During that at bat, Livy Dunn was mic'd up. I don't know if she wasn't really mic'd up.
How do we feel about that? How do we feel about?
I'm a fan.
Okay,
I need a Livy cam at all times at the games.
You took the words out of my mouth, because I was just gonna say, I think we all as a country, if there's one thing we can unite around, it's the fact that we all got tired of watching Taylor Swift on NFL football. At least the some of us who do watch sports. And so I don't want to watch a Livy Dunn cam. I don't want it.
You don't want to see Livy Dunn's cans. Got it. Or a can.
I want none of.
And are we getting political?
Livy Dunn.
I want no Livy because we're talking about uniting the country and stuff. I think we can all unite around Livy Dunn. If that's anything. If
I don't care about her at all. And I don't know why I have to be subjected to people I don't care about when I'm just trying to watch my sport. And why do I feel like I'm now suddenly like a 60-year-old man with that take? You know what I mean? Like, let me watch my ball. Like, why do I need to see these women on TV?
You've been watching and paying attention to too much baseball lately, and you're slowly morphing into a 60-year-old man.
If that's what this sport does, then I don't know. Maybe I'll have better prospects at home ownership then. I don't know. Not a bad thing. I'll have a pension or retirement. Go ahead, sorry.
Ohtani hit a bomb, which is cool to see in the All-Star game. If you go to an All-Star game, you want to see the dogs hit bombs, and Ohtani's definitely. I think Ohtani, if he could, he should, to stay on the politics trend at what we're doing, he should run for president. I think everyone would vote for Ohtani for president.
He cannot, as he was not born in this country.
But he should, though. That would be really cool. Trey Turner was mic'd up. Speaking about mic'ing up Livy Dunn, Trey Turner was mic'd up, made a diving play while he was mic'd up.
And you know how I feel about the mics.
I want to ask, Is that cool since he made a cool play?
No.
Still hate it?
Yeah, still hate it.
Okay.
Let the boys play the game. I don't want to hear it. We're gonna get into this later, I think, but like, what does it say that they can legitimately have an entire conversation while they're making like big plays during a game? You know what I mean?
That's baseball though. Like, what is?
I know,
What, are you
but
gonna be
like I
locked
said,
in,
I
focused all the
think
time?
I think we're gonna. Well,
There's a lot of time in between, you know.
I understand that, and I think we're gonna talk about this later. So just shelve that idea in your
We
mind
are?
as we move forward. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sure. But yeah, All-Star game. I actually thought this year wasn't that bad. Sometimes you can have pitching dominate the entire game, but I mean, it dominated for sure. But we had a 5-3 game, a lot of offense in one inning, and then the Jaren Duran home run. But what did you think about this year's All-Star game?
I think looking at this year's All-Star game, it's pretty readily obvious to me, or maybe obvious isn't the right term, but it's just seeming more to me as though baseball actually has All-Stars that are, past baseball. I think when I think of an All-Star, I think of someone like a Derek Jeter, a LeBron James, a Kobe Bryant,
Tom
a
Brady.
Tom Brady. I'm thinking of these people who, even if you don't watch that specific sport, you've heard their name before and you're aware, oh, that's a football guy. Like or that's a baseball guy. That's a basketball guy. And as I was watching the line or looked at the lineup, watched the game, you're seeing Otani, Skeens, like Judge, Soto. It feels like it's getting back to a time where we do have these legitimate all-stars. And I don't mean that to take away from like the Trey Turners and the Durans and all the other guys who,
Mookie,
are
Harper. Our Harper might be one of the ones where
leave.
people
I was gonna
recognize
say,
too.
leave Mookie Betts out of this. That boy
You
can
did
do.
it. You didn't mention him. You're the one who did
I'm a
it.
Mook. I'm a Mookie Betts truther, and I love that man. So leave him out of this. But yeah, I mean, even a Bryce Harper, I think, is kind of on the line. But yeah, it feels like that's where it's going, and I think it's really good for baseball. It makes me happy to see. And I think we talked about this with Skeens being the first pitcher for the National League. It's like, does he deserve to be there? Should he be there? We can go back and forth. But at the end of the day, the people wanted to see him. And that's ultimately a good thing because they actually know his name.
Yeah, and I think that's why the All-Star game was pretty good this year because you had, like you said, that's a good point. You're getting stars who people know now. So you have Otani, who everyone wants to go see Otani. And what did he do? He provided. He hit a bomb. He
did what he's supposed to do. Yeah.
And then you have Paul Skeens. Everyone wants to go see Paul Skeens. Well, what did he do? He got 3 outs. Didn't allow a run. He walked one guy, Juan Soto, which everyone was kind of hoping Juan Soto would get on base. And then he faced Judge because everyone wanted to see him face Judge as the 4th batter. So, yeah, it's just what you wanted, you kind of got. It was kind of dope. So I guess, yeah, you're starting to see baseball, I guess, not descend. What's the opposite of descend? Ascend.
Ascend.
Great
Yeah,
word,
and I mean
Ant. Great word,
it's
Ant.
ultimately a good thing, right?
So the American League has won 10 of the last 11 games in the All-Star game. Is the American League just better than the National League? Can we say that?
I mean, this is a debate as old as time, right? Obviously, you and I are both American League fans. We have our teams are in the American League. I think we'd probably be biased towards saying that yes, it is better.
Are you officially on the Yankee band? Like you're a Yankee fan, but you always say you're like a blasé, good word, Ant.
I don't think I don't think there's anyone who's not a blasé Yankees fan. Like I think that's just part of the territory.
No.
But when I say that we're American League fans, I mean, let's face it, regardless of who I pledge my allegiance to eventually, which should just be a running joke on this show, like I don't really have a team. I followed the Yankees my whole life pretty much, and even if I didn't, the Rays, which are the team closest to me, are an American League team, and they're your favorite team. So, like, yeah, I just have more exposure to the American League. I don't know. It's funny because when we looked at the lineup, I feel like you might look at it and it's one of those things where it's like the sum is better than the parts or whatever. What's that saying?
Some
You know
of
what
all
I'm talking about.
parts.
No, it's like
All right.
whatever. Basically, the little each individual
I'm not the one to
thing
go
is,
to for sayings, Lisa. You
I
know
know,
this.
I know.
get them all
But
wrong.
I think when we looked at the lineup for the National League, it was like oh, all of these. If you know the phrase, please, dear God, leave it in the comments. I'm dying right now. I don't know why I cannot, it's not coming to mind. But you saw all these pieces, all these players, and you're like, oh, wow, no, these are really amazing players. But I think, as a whole, the American League is just stronger. So, yeah, I mean, but then you could change the metric. Like, does the All-Star game really matter? Is it really that indicative? Is it something else? Like, you could also say maybe World Series wins would be more indicative of which league is better.
No,
That's
so I would say, yeah, the American League. Like I thought about this, I'm like, well, it's just one game, but also 10 of the last 11 is insane. And if you look past that,
it
I
is
think
quite
like
a
of the
lot.
last 25, it's even more than that. So I would say, yeah, the American League is definitely better than the National League. When you look at the teams that are in each league, not just the players on the All-Star lineup, but actually the teams in each league. There's a lot. I mean, National League has really good teams, obviously, like the Dodgers and Braves and Phillies. But I think the National League is a lot more top heavy compared to the American League, which has a lot of good teams and they have a lot of above average teams. Whereas the teams that are average in the National League, I think would get steamrolled against the teams that are average in the American League. So in whole,
Yeah.
I'd say that the American League is better. And baseball is all about depth. So once you get past that top heavy, the stars, the real all stars, you start getting into, some of the other all stars from average teams, or so to say, that are filling in the holes, getting subbed in, or pitchers or relievers. The American League's been wiping the floor the last like 25 years in all star games, and yeah, I would say that the American League's better. But like you said, we might be biased. How would you make it
Probably
better?
biased.
You mentioned, and I put a video out on this, how I would save the All-Star game, so I'll put a card somewhere up here. But yeah, I would make it home run, like the All-Star game determines World Series. I think that might be a bad take to some people, but I think that makes the game matter.
No, I
Makes
think
you
that's a
want to
good
watch
take.
it.
Okay, ideas that I liked from your video, go watch it. I don't even want to necessarily discuss all the ideas that you had because I think people should just go watch the video and leave their thoughts. So I'll say this. I think I agree with you making it making it the decider on who has home field advantage at first for the World Series. I think that's great. I think that would be a good start. For me, one thing that you addressed in your video, and we can talk, I think, a little bit more about this one as a teaser to go watch your video and see the rest of the things, which I thought were great ideas, is the amount of interleague play that happens now, I think does diminish the All-Star game. And you can go ahead and give your thoughts, but to me, it's like we've talked about this before. Like Dodgers Yankees is one that I always go back to because that felt like such an all-star game in itself. And yeah, there are a bunch of people we don't know in the lineup on the Dodgers and the Yankees. But at the end of the day, that's a game you want to see. I mean, Ohtani, Judge going against each other, all their pitching, all that stuff. When you do that multiple times a year, I feel like that diminishes the excitement of the All-Star game.
I will say this, though, to combat you there. You just mentioned Yankees Dodgers. How many times has that happened this year?
At least once.
Just once. Just once. And you mentioned it.
It could have happened more.
No,
I don't
but
know.
you've mentioned
I wasn't
it.
paying attention.
There's been other matchups that are interleague matchups that happen every week. You mentioned one. Yankees Dodgers. Why'd you mention that? Because of the stars on both sides.
They have the most All-Stars.
And
Yeah,
the history
exactly.
and the stars on both sides. Okay, so that doesn't diminish the All-Star game. But I see what you said. I addressed that in the video too. But I think it's a necessary, like the MLB has to do that. Or MLB has to do that. Because if you're in an American League city, you want to see Ohtani. Oh, well, too bad he plays in a National
Right.
League.
And
You'll
you'll
never,
never see
ever
him.
be able to see him, ever. Unless
No,
you
I
go.
understand.
So, yeah.
And I understand that point that you make, but I just still feel like, at the end of the day, you end up having like mini all-stars throughout. And so it's like, what do I care?
What's wrong?
You know?
Well, no, it's not mini All-Stars because it's not the American League and National League. It's Yankees Dodgers. It's different. They're two teams. The American League,
but
National
when
League
you
is,
end up with a lineup that's
and like I've
mostly
mentioned,
Yankees or mostly
the
Dodgers.
No, it's not. Soto and Judge, two Yankees.
Yeah, and Ohtani and Betts.
There's 9
and
people in the lineup.
Somebody else. Yeah,
And
okay.
they're facing Paul Skeens, who I know you know this, doesn't pitch on the Dodgers. So the All-Star game, like I said last year too, the All-Star game is 10 times the Yankees and Dodgers. It's 10 times the Yankees and Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yankees and Dodgers is dope because it's got All-Stars and stars, but it's 10 times
my
Yankees
opinion.
Dodgers.
It's just my opinion.
I'm here
It's
to
just my
tell you,
opinion.
as a true politician, your opinion is wrong and evil.
Okay.
Second question here. that I got. Our second question. It's probably on like question number 5 or whatever. I can't keep count. I'm not a best mathematician. But did you get to watch anything about the All-Star game with Big Papi and La Casa?
I did not, but I did see what you sent me, and I had a very good laugh.
It shows it's pretty much Big Papi going from player to player in the dugout. He's in La Casa. He's in the house. Big Papi's in the house with his Dominican accent, which is actually hilarious. And he goes from player to player, and this tweet says, Big Papi interviews people like they owe him money. I thought that was funny as hell. Do you like this?
It's funny because it's true. It's funny because he looks kind of like
He's pissed at Mookie in that one
like
picture.
your Dominican uncle who's like coming over to ask you questions about what happened with your novia, like, or whatever. You know, like he's getting kind of in your grill about it. I love it. I think it's great. I love Big Papi. I'm a huge fan, especially now that he is no longer playing and he's not with obviously the Red Sox anymore. I can like him even more. Yeah, I think this is hilarious. It's the hand.
Oh, you ain't going
on
nowhere.
The shoulder.
Yeah, once Papi has a hold of you, you ain't going nowhere. You're
Exactly.
in that interview.
It's like you're like or actually, I guess it's more like, you know, a dad interviewing like the boyfriend when he comes to the house. It's like, so what are you guys doing tonight? So where are you taking her? You're gonna have her back by 10, right?
Yeah,
Like
back by
that's
10.
this energy, and I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I like that. Mini fair or foul here. I'll say fair as hell.
Absolutely fair.
So you hate
At
mic'd
most
up.
things-
You hate mic'd up, but you love Papi and La Casa.
Dude, how could I not love Papi? And these are completely different things. This is like asking me like, oh, you like cheese, but you hate mangoes? It's like, what are you talking about? These are totally different things.
They're
I
both
love
food,
Papi and
though.
La Casa.
They're both food.
Yeah, and there are microphones involved in both of these things, but they're not the same.
So that was what happened during the middle of the week. There were games played last week since we last did an episode. That was all last weekend. So let's go to the weekly recap for last weekend's results after the All-Star game, of course. The Guardians beat the Padres. That was a good series. Anything you see here? Obviously, I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me, 2 things, other than our Yankees and Rays split. But Dodgers sweeping the Red Sox in LA.
You're wrong. The biggest thing is the Astros beating the Mariners.
Well, yeah, you're right. You are right. Let me check that division. What is that division looking like right now?
I'm literally pulling it up right now because I saw that and I was like, oh, I did not realize that happened.
Well, they didn't get the
Houston-
sweep, so mini win.
So they're tied right now. So they're tied.
Those Astros
That
are
is the
so
biggest
dead,
thing.
right, Lisa? You say that every
The
week.
Astros are dead.
Doesn't look like it. They're in first place.
Sometimes things that are dead can still kill you. You know, you ever eat bad shellfish or something, and you know, the dead can still leave a legacy. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just gonna let you keep talking. I don't see.
I
they're
won't.
In first place.
I won't change.
They're gonna.
I
Make
won't
the
change my
playoffs.
opinion. They're tied for first. We'll see.
You know,
We've
you could
got
just come
half
out
of
and
the
say,
season.
"Hey, I was wrong." You can
I will
say
not.
that.
I will absolutely not do that.
Okay. And when they win the World Series,
They will not win the World Series.
I know, but I'm saying when they do, like let's say they do, will you
They
come out and say I'm
won't.
wrong, or you'll be like, no, they were dead?
I will still maintain that they are dead in the water.
All right, now let's take a look at the other series. The Mariners, they had such an opportunity to get a big lead in that division, and they kind of squandered it, and now Astros are here. That's why you don't play with fire, man, I'm telling you. But like I said, Dodgers sweeping the Red Sox. Not what you want to see if you're from Boston. But the Pirates also beating the Phillies. I thought that was interesting. Paul Skeens and the Phillies.
Yeah. Didn't Paul go? So he still did a certain number. He's like always doing a certain number of innings with like no hits, right? That's his thing right now lately.
Yeah,
And they never
he's
let him
just-
do the full game.
That seems like what Paul Skeens likes to do. He likes to throw 7 innings, no hit baseball.
7 innings.
And then get
yeah,
taken
and then
out.
get out. You know, Rockies maintaining they can only win if they are home. It's a curse, I think, happening in Denver. I think we should make that a thing. But yeah,
Cardinals
no,
beat
I
the
mean,
Braves too. The Cardinals beat the
in
Braves.
a weird way, it was like a nice little break from baseball. I think everyone needed it. So, yeah, good times. Interesting. We're gonna get back into the next half of the season and see what where this goes.
It'll be interesting to see, like you said, the All-Star break is kind of a reset. So it'll be interesting to see who gets hot and who gets cold from the All-Star break, because it always happens every year. Like the Dodgers were cold entering the All-Star break, and now they just swept the Red Sox. So
If you had to predict who would be, based on what you've seen in the All-Star game, and now we have one weekend of results so far. If you had to predict who you think will be cold towards the end of the season, who,
The end of the season?
like now, since we're in the second half, like who do you think is gonna like cool down
Oh,
substantially as we head into the end of the season?
I got the Cardinals staying hot. That's for sure. I want to see the Red Sox beat the Yankees and make the playoffs over them. I think the Cubs are gonna go down. The Cubs are gonna go down pretty fast. It pains me to say it, but maybe the Rays. They've been playing good lately, but I saw they have a hard strength of schedule for the rest of the way. And maybe the Guardians might slow down a little bit too. Those
I
are
think
my
the
three
Guardians is a
teams.
good one. I'm almost wondering if like the Phillies will slow down a little bit, but I also know I feel like I won't say I know, but I also feel like they have a very good postseason uh production rate. So I'm not too concerned. I feel like they turn it on towards the end,
They got a good
so they'll probably
PPR,
be fine. Sure.
postseason production rate.
That's what I'm
Let's
gonna call
coin
it
that.
now.
Let's coin that.
Make
If
that
you're
a
good in
thing.
October, you just got good PPR.
It's
Post
better than whatever the other ones they call it.
winning percentage. I don't know.
No, that one.
I don't know. You're just good in October. All right. Speaking of that Phillies and Pirates series, that's going to be something that next year MLB has announced they're doing a rivalry week. So MLB is introducing a rivalry week. Rivalry week.
It's a hard
Holy
word to say.
Nikes. Yeah. MLB is introducing a rivalry week next year where teams play each other based on historic or geographical rivalries. So when you hear that, what are some teams you think of?
Ooh.
You probably
I
think
mean, I
Yankees,
think
Red
Yankees, Red
Sox,
Sox. I think
Cubs, Cardinals.
Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah, that's not what we're
Yeah,
getting. I have the screen
no,
with the
we are
teams
not.
here. I mean, you still
Sox
get
Cubs
some.
makes sense though. Like White Sox Cubs does make
No, I mean
sense.
a lot of these are still rivalries, right? Like I think this is based more on geographical stuff. So like obviously Yankees Mets Subway Series. You got the I don't know what they call Phillies and Pirates if that is a series name. I don't know, Steel Series. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, Chicago. The two Chicago teams
Then
play.
how do you figure like Braves
Well,
Boston?
that's the thing, right? I'm like, okay, well, there's some like Braves Boston. I don't know, maybe because the Atlanta Braves, Boston Braves, like
And
the
then
Boston
like
Braves went
the
to Milwaukee.
the
Or,
Rays Marlins, okay, they're in the same geographic location, but have those two teams ever had a passing thought about the other in any way?
that's the thing. So, I mean, you can try to do a rivalry week. I think it's kind of hard to do it for Major League Baseball because a rivalry you need to have some cold, like bad blood between teams. And I think
Right.
it would be kind of neat though. I mean, it's a good idea. I like where their heads are at because it would be kind of cool to have like a Sunshine series with the Rays and Marlins, or like the Subway series, and then give out like a little, like you know how college football has a bowl game or something. You give out a little bowl or a little trophy for the Sunshine series, like something stupid. But the thing is, will people care about it? Maybe
No,
not. Maybe not.
they will not.
But maybe. But maybe. I don't know. I don't think you know until you try. And like I said, the season is so long. It's worth trying little quirky stuff like this.
Yeah, no, it's worth doing. I just question, like I said, I question some of the matchups.
Houston, Texas. All right. Well, let's focus on some good
Well,
ones
yeah.
though. I mean, Yankees, Mets is
Astros
good.
Rangers great.
Yeah.
Yankees Mets is good.
Great.
White Sox Cubs is good. I like that one.
Cardinals, Royals is pretty good too because they're both in Missouri and they're a little bit of a rivalry too. I mean, LA
Okay.
and like Dodgers, Angels, eh. Pittsburgh,
really.
Phillies could be pretty good. Nationals, Orioles, because they're so close together. That one isn't bad.
Twins, Brewers, like
Yeah, I
are
don't
those
know.
teams, like I said, some of this feels like
They
it
were
makes
people.
sense.
Some of it is like they were lab partners because they didn't have anyone else. Like you were the
Right,
last two
exactly.
people in
Like
class, and you just got
I'm thinking like I'm thinking
Mariners,
like,
Padres.
matchmaking stuff, and it's like these people have never indicated they like each other. They were
Like,
just in a room at the same time at one point. Like this is not a
also,
good
think about this,
indication.
and they did Oakland and San Francisco because of Oakland and San Francisco, but come next year, they're not playing in Oakland anymore. It's gonna be Sacramento. So
Yeah, I mean, and Detroit, Toronto. I mean, okay, again, geographic. Like call this the geographical location series, and then you're still kind of screwed
not
because
rivalry.
you still end up with the Braves and Boston, which are not in the same area really, and the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. I mean, I don't know if there's a historic rivalry there. I could be wrong, but they're certainly not like next door neighbors.
Yeah.
So
Well, no one's really that next door to Colorado. But I mean, what do you think here? I think it's got potential. You could do something fun with it. I don't hate it, but I think it needs some work. What are your thoughts with this? Final thoughts with
no,
this?
I think I echo your thoughts. I don't hate the idea. I think you're right that it's good to introduce these things, but at the same time, it's like,
Will anyone care?
guys, we needed to spend like another hour workshopping this one before we let it out the door, I think.
Well, when I was watching this, I stumbled across these guys from ESPN from, I think it's called The Rally. I think is what it is, like a baseball show on ESPN.
Okay.
This guy, Danny
Interesting.
Graves, who's a former Major League pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Also, fun fact, apparently he played against Bert Kreischer, like played baseball against Bert Kreischer. And Bert Kreischer
Okay.
didn't know until he was on the show and was talking about this guy, Danny. And then Danny was like, dude, that's me. Like childhood,
funny.
they
Okay.
played in their childhood. So I thought that was funny.
Okay. That
But
makes sense.
this is what Danny Graves had to say about rivalries in baseball.
Baseball is not a sport that you need to get like a ton of testosterone ready and masculinity ready because I cannot wait to hit a single. Or can I, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Can't wait till the 7th inning to get in this game.
I can't wait till I go back and eat more sunflower seeds in the dugout or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just to me, I don't see this as a rivalry sport. I said that pretty good.
You did. That was the best
smooth.
one.
Rivalry sports are stuff that you can like actually hit people, like football, hockey, even basketball. You just slamming one down on them, and like baseball, you can't do anything that is just so
But
masculine.
like, what if you lost to them in the playoffs or something?
So what are your thoughts with what Danny Graves had to say? Is he right there?
I mean, I think he's absolutely on the money. And this is what it kind of comes down to the idea that I've been, screaming from the rooftops this year, which is that, it's not like how it used to be in the terms of, especially, I think a great example, if you haven't watched it, seeing Anthony's Royals-Yankees rivalry video. I mean, these guys were taking shots. I mean, they were running people over. It was getting insane. I mean, did somebody kick somebody? Like, it was wild. And like,
There was something
there
similar,
were-
yeah.
yeah, there were like legitimate fights and things from other rivalries throughout the years. I mean, that is bad blood. Like, that is, we don't need to be on this field much longer, or I might actually go beat that guy's butt. But without that, I mean, what's the rivalry that, like, I think a rivalry, you can say you're a rival with someone, right? A great example, local example. Anthony and I both are fans of Florida State, right? And we have a very contentious rivalry with another school east of the Swanee River, right?
Gators, University of Florida.
When we don't say that name. When
I'll say
we
it's not Voldemort.
play,
Go ahead.
it's like actually intense. It's like very intense. And being there is intense. And the whole thing is insane. Meanwhile, juxtapose that with what they tried to do with USF and UCF, two other schools here in Florida.
That was actually a pretty
that
good
are
rivalry.
that were along I-4. Yeah, but no,
That's because their
Was
schools.
it?
Yes, it was, but that's not. It's because their schools are smaller than Florida State. So this is Lisa having a Florida State brain, thinking the only thing that matters is Florida State.
That's
yes,
not
UCF
true.
and USF were big
Alabama
rivals.
and Auburn, great rivalry.
Yes, I know, but USF and
But, like-
UCF, but those are also big schools. That's what I'm saying. USF and UCF aren't big schools, so obviously it's not going to
I
be
guess
that
you're
big
right.
compared to those.
I'm
Now,
just saying you can't make up a rivalry. There has to be history and there has to be like a
my problem with what
continuing,
Danny
like-
Graves was saying was he wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying you can't make up a rivalry. He was saying that baseball, at least what I got, and no offense to Danny Graves, but brother, come on, man. He made it farther than I did playing baseball, which is awesome, but I think it's clear that he was a pitcher. And I say that because of this. Dude, baseball has rivalries, man. When you think of the biggest rivalries in sports, what's the biggest rivalry in sports that you can think of all time? It's Yankees, Red
Well,
Sox.
I was gonna say now I'm stuck on my rivalry, so I
No,
had to
but you know what I
clear my
mean. It's
brain for a
Yankees,
second.
Red Sox. Baseball has rivalries, and just because it's not
mean-
a physical sport doesn't mean that you can't have a rivalry. Because if you look at those Yankees, Red Sox series, it was pretty physical when they started fighting each other all the damn time, which is
But
a
that
rivalry.
doesn't happen anymore. But that's not where we are at this
That was
point.
rare. I mean, but that is a rivalry. You don't have rivalries all the time. When's the last time you've seen two football teams fight each other Like, when's the last time you seen two basketball teams fight each other?
Well, I think his point is that in those games, they don't have to start a fight because they're legitimately always
Sure, but that's the
physically
nature of their
coming
sport.
at each other.
Just because,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that you can't have a rivalry just because you crack someone on a dig or something. Like when Joey bats, when Jose Bautista hits a bomb in Toronto and flips his bat and the stadium's going crazy, and all the Rangers players feel like the world's caving in on them, and then next year Rougned Odor slides into second base and Rougned Odor knocks his lights out with a flying fist. That's not a rivalry. Like you can have rivalries
still
without
equating it to things that are like physical.
Okay,
though.
well,
like
I was
a
just about to
flying
say
fist.
you can have rivalries without having contact. Like Joey Bats hitting a home run. Like every Red Sox Yankees series that happens. It's a rivalry. They still hate each other. Or
I think
like the Astros and Rangers. Adolis Garcia hitting a home run after he got hit by a pitch. I mean, baseball is still physical. I know they're taking a lot of physicality
I was gonna
out
say,
of it.
I think that the one I was going to bring up that feels like it's getting there is Orioles Yankees because of what we have followed this season with them hitting each other. But that still comes down to these teams are getting physical with each other. Like it's cross. I think what he's trying to say is that rivalry happens when you kind of cross the boundary.
Sure, but he's saying
and
that
when
you
you're
can't
just
do
sitting
that
there,
in baseball.
getting ready to have your seventh inning stretch, it doesn't feel like a game where the stakes are
That's
I'm going
lame.
to cross
And
the
I think
boundary
he
and
said
get a hit on
he
some
said it
guy.
like he's not even a baseball player. He said it like it's so damn demeaning.
I did not know that he was a baseball. I was kind of shocked that you said that because I heard it before.
I told you it's because he's a pitcher. And he was like, oh, I can't wait to go in the dugout and eat sunflower seeds. Buddy, you know who? That sounds like a pitcher right there because all pitchers do is they sit every 4 games. Or they sit 4 games out of the week
and they
pitch
play
one.
like 3 innings.
or if you're a bullpen guy, you're sitting on your butt in the bullpen watching the entire game before you throw 1 inning in the 7th. So obviously you're not going to feel that in tune. But I guarantee you that if you're on a position at least or a starter, or if you're just involved in the team, I'm like, dude, how does he think this way? I don't know, because I've been in some rivalries and it's heated, and it might not be physical, but the effort and the rivalry is still there. You still want to kick that team's butt, and we do get in a fight because of it too. So like the bad blood is there.
I think that's what I hate to keep going back to like has to be physical. I don't want to be that person, but like
to me, it's just that the way he said it and why I don't like his comments. It was like it can never happen in baseball because it's not physical. And I'm like, dude, where have you been the last 100 years? Baseball has some of the best rivalries in sports, and they get physical.
Right. Well, and that's what I read on it, and this is not what he was saying. This is what I'm saying, which is that I agree in the sense that like to be a true rivalry, there's a level of hatred that has to be there that transcends
the sport or the
I don't
game.
like these guys.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like a level where I literally cannot see these people, or I'm going to, if anything happens this game, I'm going to lose it because I cannot stand this opponent. That's a real, and obviously,
that's bad blood.
Guys, I was gonna say, take this in the context of sports. I know things are crazy, but like it's sports. Bad blood. That's legitimate bad blood. Like I'm going to run over there and I'm going to hit this pitcher if he hits my guy. Like that's what I'm talking about. I think without that, it falls short. Now I hear your point.
I
like
think
just
it's
because
dumb
it's
to
not
say that
physical doesn't
baseball
mean that can't happen.
Yeah. That's what I.
But I do think that at a certain point, to really feel like we are in the middle of like, oh my god, these people hate each other. It would get there. Like it would get to a point where like they're gonna storm the mound or something. You know what I mean?
Is that not in every rivalry in every sport though? Like in football, they fight in football, and if they fight, then it's a rivalry. Like every rivalry fights.
I think
just because you're not physical, that's what I'm saying.
This is just my take on it. I think maybe I'm not sure I really like what he said. I'm trying to be like nice and play devil's advocate here. I think if his point is that
you're crazy.
If his point is that when it's a physical game, it's easier to get there, right? Whereas like with baseball, you kind of already have to be edging towards like this amount of tension to like throw and hit a guy, you know, like, and then that's what starts the thing.
But I'll remind you, like, I mean, there were no fights in the Astros Rangers rivalry last year in the playoffs, but it was still a rivalry and there was still bad blood. Every time Adolis hit a home run.
We also forgot who won the World Series several times over the last 6 months.
No.
Yeah,
but
we know.
if Adolis hits a home run in that series and he hit like several after he got hit and there was bad blood. It's still a big rivalry. He's flipping the bat and he's taking his time around and down the bases. Words are being said. Like,
well, it's Jackson Profar in every single game that he plays. Every single game that this man plays, he has a rivalry with whoever is around him. Like that's the level that we need to be at in order to get to that point. I think, did he say something about like it's not a heavy testosterone game? That felt
that's
like
what I'm saying.
That actually felt insulting.
It's very, and that's what I'm
not
trying
a man,
to get at.
but like that felt mean.
What I'm trying to get at is exactly that. It's like, dude, why are you being demeaning? It's like ESPN can't help themselves but shit on baseball. It's like, wake up. Baseball is the best sport out of all four, in my opinion. And if you don't agree with that, that's fine. But why do you have to shit on baseball? To me, it just sounds like you just can't play it. And I can't say that in Danny Graves' sense because he did play it. So that's why I was like, dude, what? This sounds like a non-baseball person take. But again, I think it's because he's a pitcher.
I have my own theories as to why ESPN is such a piece of hot flaming garbage.
Well, it's because they're financially tied to the NBA, so they have to push the NBA.
Well,
and
they're
the
financially
NFL.
tied to a lot of things that are not baseball or things that people actually care about.
The
right?
NFL too,
So,
like I'm pretty sure it's in their contract for the NFL that they have to talk about football every day, like something crazy.
well, in
like
the
that.
SEC, and people will deny that. Like people deny
Don't
any
get us
fans
started
of
on
these
the
things.
SEC.
Yeah, any fans of these things will deny that there's relation, but there is.
Either
and so, yeah,
Screw you, Danny Graves. Baseball is high testosterone, and I'll show you by throwing
Okay,
a
well,
baseball
that might
really
be
hard.
going high. It's a testosterone.
Go look
but
up Bob Gibson. All right,
high might be too far.
go look up Bob Gibson, Lisa. Do yourself a favor.
They're mic'd up. They're talking on mic while they're playing. Like, what are we doing?
All right, well, the Rays got a new baseball park. At least they're going to. I guess it's happening. I don't know. The St. Pete City Council and local government voted to approve the new Rays stadium that's going to be in the exact same spot as the old one. Lisa, is this a good idea or a bad idea?
There's a saying that I think about often.
If it ain't
which is
broke,
that-
don't fix it.
Well, no,
If
it
it's
is broke.
fix it.
What I was gonna say is that in the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that's what this feels like to me. We've talked multiple times on air and off air about the issues with the Rays location. And so to put it in the same spot, I think it's the least worst option that they were willing to go with. That does not make it the best option overall, but when you've got the front office that they've got, you gotta deal with what you're gonna deal with, I guess.
I think as a Rays fan, if it's St. Pete or Nashville or St. Pete or leave the area,
Right. Sure.
I'd pick St. Pete. Shoot, I'd put them on Anna Maria Island. But obviously, them being on St. Pete,
That'd be kind of dope, actually.
it would be
but,
kind of like
yeah.
I saw actually a joke picture of a stadium on a beach with sand. I'm like, that would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that
the
sounds
flood
cool,
insurance would go crazy, but no, I mean, I think obviously everyone wants it in Tampa, and if you're not familiar with the geography, it is so hard to get to those Rays games, and people are like, oh, well, you have to cross a bridge, big whoop. I travel 1 hour to go to my games. It's like, good for you, dude. I don't give a damn.
Love that for you.
What's crazy though, and these are some real stats, is that in St. Petersburg, the Tampa Bay Rays have half the population. They're 30th. Let's say this. In these rankings, they're 30th with populations. Excuse me. They're 30th in population within a 30-minute radius of the stadium.
I believe it.
Right? Now that's half. Their 30th population is half that of 29. So they're
Oh my
half
God.
the Yeah, exactly.
Who's below them?
I don't know. Maybe Cleveland or something. I don't know. I really
Good
don't.
Lord.
I really don't know.
Like,
But
who's
either way-
playing in a dungeon? Like, what do you mean?
So within 30 minutes of someone in Hawaii, like I don't know, but
Yeah,
within
like, what
30
is-
minutes of the stadium, nobody lives within 30 minutes, which is pretty important if you have a baseball stadium. You want people to go to your games. It'll help if they live closer. If you put your stadium closer where people live, that would be in Tampa. I can tell you right now, I've been to a ton of baseball games this year. Not a ton, but I've been to 6.
Been a fair amount.
I've been
yeah.
to 6 at the halfway point, which is decent. But I'm a big baseball fan. If
One a month.
they were in Tampa,
2 a month.
if they were in Tampa, I'd probably have season tickets. I'll say that.
I have gone on record saying this. The minute that the Rays move to Tampa, I'm on the Rays train
Oh,
because
well,
I
Stu
live
missed
in
out
Tampa.
on an opportunity.
I know he missed out on me. So many men can say that. But they're not in my city. Like they're not here in Tampa. And I would be a season ticket holder. Absolutely. My thing is, and this has always been my argument for the Rays, baseball is a very, very, and it's also my argument with the A's moving to Vegas, although it's different being in Vegas. Baseball's a very long season. There's a lot of games. You have to make it easy and for people to go. Because I'm sorry, on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, what is my incentive to get out there when I have work? The pitch clock has helped immensely because then the games get out shorter or they're shorter so I can get home earlier. But before when they were, longer, it's even worse and it's still not ideal. So
Also, something to point
I
out
don't know
that
why
the
they're-
Rays deal with, something to point out that we deal with in Tampa, or not even in Tampa, but in Tampa Bay. One, yeah, people don't even realize that St. Pete isn't Tampa. St. Pete is across a large body of water called Tampa Bay.
Can I just stop you there for 1 second? And I apologize for interrupting, but I need to say this. It kind of pisses me off that it feels like media in general is really selling this Tampa Bay thing. They're not the same. There's Tampa, there's St. Pete. They're two different places.
What do you mean media in
And
general?
I just feel like there's the Tampa Bay Rays, and then you and I have seen advertisements lately for Tampa Bay, and it's like, buddy, this is where are you located? That could be
Well,
eight
the
different
reason
cities.
it started was because of the Bucks in 1976. They were not the Tampa Bucks; they were the Tampa,
Tampa Bay
Bucks.
Buccaneers.
To
Right,
include
and I hate that.
to include the region, you get more fans if it's the region. But they were in Tampa. The Rays need to do the same thing. They need to be in Tampa. But one of the problems, one, people don't know that St. Pete's not Tampa. Two,
Yeah.
also, we have to deal with minor league baseball in our area, and a lot of it in spring training. And we have a lot of spring training fans who come down here and retire,
Yes.
who don't
And what
ever.
else?
Who the spring training fans don't ever leave their home fans. We have tons of Yankees fans, tons of Cardinals fans, tons of Red Sox fans, Phillies fans. Two, like Lisa said,
Three.
Tuesday night, and 2B, like Lisa said, Tuesday night, if you're not really a fan of baseball that much and you just want to go to a baseball game, and if you're watching the show, you're probably like, that doesn't exist, but it's true. People don't really care that much about baseball, but just might want to go enjoy a game. They'll go watch the Tampa Tarpons, which is the hat Lisa's wearing right now, for $5 in Tampa instead of driving all the way to St. Pete and paying $40 to go watch the Rays.
I do.
Yeah.
I personally do that because I don't have, at least at a minor league or at a minor league game, I'm not paying for parking. It's a little bit cheaper. It's right. It's very close to my home, much easier. And I think the other thing, that we have to compete with, that would be, I guess, to be one, is the fact that
2BC1.
yeah,
Code A, Section 3.
Amendment
3-4.
A, yeah, subsection C. And we've experienced this at games when we've met people, is that this is a vacation destination. And so the A's will have to deal with this when they're in Vegas. You go to a Rays game, and if you're listening to this and you're not in Tampa, you will probably be one of those people. If you come to a Rays game, you're coming to see your team. So the Rays field never feels like a home team
it blows.
experience unless it's the playoffs. It's always the away team that has a lot of people there because it's cheaper for them to actually come down to Florida, buy the entire series of games, and then go to the beach than it is to get out an entire series in some of these stadiums across the country.
I
which
will
is
say this,
wild.
though, that the stadium does look pretty sweet. Even though it's in St. Pete, I'm excited for it. It still might not draw any fans, but at least they're going to be.
Are they keeping
here.
the rate or the is
Yes,
the
the
touch
Ray
tank
tank is still here. All right, it's time for your favorite segment. Let's get after
Oh
it.
shit. Okay.
It's
Whoa.
time for. Don't you? That's what you need to say.
It's time for fair or foul.
All right, first fair or foul. We got Lasso Boys in Texas. The All-Star game had some festivities going on before there, and I watching it with my roommates. We just couldn't get over these dudes with the lassos. So fair or foul.
Pulling it up now.
I'll go first, and I'll say it's fair. I think it's dope. But the guys are cowboys. This is as Texas as it gets. A little stereotypical, but I mean, I think Texans love it. They also had dudes on horses with the American flag, galloping in the outfield with the flag.
Oh, we love a horse. We love
Yeah.
a horse at a game, obviously. No, I mean, yeah, it's a little tacky, but that's Texas for you, so it's fair for me. I'm okay with the with the Lasso boys.
I say fair as well. All right, the second one is the national anthem for the Home Run Derby, and this is what it
Ay,
sounded
ay, ay.
like.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in
I
air
don't think we can hear it.
gave proof through the night.
It was pretty bad, pretty rough.
I don't think we could hear it, but that's.
I don't
for
think
the
you
best.
could hear it, but I
We
think
have
the
it-
people heard it, and that's all that matters.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So if they can hear it, great.
Honestly, if you didn't
couldn't,
hear, it's
even
probably
better.
good for you.
Yeah, even better. This is what I'll say there. I mean, look, she has come out and said that she was not well
She
during
said
that.
she was drunk, and now she's in rehab.
Right, and she's getting help. So I don't even know that I want to like necessarily. I don't know.
At least
I mean,
something
it's-
good of it came. Something
Right,
good out of it
exactly.
came.
Like it's was it foul? Sure, it was not the best rendition of the national anthem I've heard. Maybe not the worst.
I know some drunk
but-
people who sing great when the more drunk they get. So I
I
don't
think
know.
if you're talking about yourself, I think you're probably the only one who thinks that.
I
But
could sing a mean like R. Kelly. I don't know if that's
yeah,
the best
with you,
artist
with
for
Chris
me to
Brown,
say.
sounds beautiful when you're drunk. But no, I just think I don't know. I hesitate to say anything. I mean, foul obviously, but fair in that she's getting help, and I think that's more important that she just like gets the help she needs.
Damn, the two artists we
weird
talked about
moment-
me singing were Chris Brown and R. Kelly. That's not a good look for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'ma
a weird
say-
moment of empathy from me.
I'm gonna say this is fair. I actually see where she's going with kind of like the vocal. As me as a professional singer, I
Right.
see where she was trying to go with it, like the rockets, red glare. Like she was trying to hit that little high note. So I see where she was going with it. I don't think she has anything to be ashamed about. I'm gonna say fair.
Like I said, I hope she does get the help she needs, and yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
Both medically and audially. Who
She
cares?
might be a great singer when you're dealing with your own problems.
Next
like
fair
it's
foul is Adrian Beltre at the Hall of Fame speech. He does not like when people touch his head in Big Papi against Papi in La Casa. He's sneaking up behind Beltre and give him a little head tap, and Beltre looked like he wanted to beat his ass.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a person who I don't like when big moments are interrupted by tomfoolery. I think certain things we should just leave them alone. One great example would be at a wedding when you see they like push stuff in the bride's face. It's like, just leave her alone. Just, this isn't funny. Who's this funny for? You know how much that makeup costs? Just don't do that.
I
This
agree
is
with
how
the
I feel
wedding
about
cake thing,
this.
but I disagree with this. I think this was cool, so I'll say fair.
Leave him alone. Leave the poor man alone. He has boundaries. Respect them. Foul.
No one does.
Yeah,
Poor
that's
Beltre.
worse.
Even
That's
on his
not
Hall of Fame Day
good.
speech. All right, well, let's look
No,
at the
that's
future.
bad.
Let's look at the next. Holy moly! Let's look at the next games coming up this weekend and next week. All right, so midweek games. These are the series that we got. Anything that pops out at you? I see a Subway series. Is it rivalry week already? Yankees Mets.
I know, right?
I see Yankees Mets. I think that'll be a good series. That's probably the only one that I'm gonna be tuned into.
Yeah, I mean, it is gonna be the only one I'm
Tigers
tuned
and
into.
Guardians will be interesting as well.
Giants, Dodgers could be interesting, but
A
Dodgers I
rivalry.
think are so ahead, and it's fine.
All right, let's look at the weekend. These are the weekend series. Yankees, Red Sox, which Lisa and Danny Graves are not going to be watching because it's not fun. There are no rivalries in baseball, apparently.
Yeah.
First
It's a
place
low T
team,
sport,
two first place teams.
allegedly.
Yeah, girl.
That's
All right,
his
Guardians,
words, not
Phillies.
mine.
We got Guardians, Phillies. That'll be a good two first place teams playing against each other. Braves and Mets. So, what out of these weekend series, which ones are you most looking forward to?
I mean, I think you're right about Guardians, Phillies. You know, Padres, Orioles might be interesting. Orioles are doing really well. I mean, there's not a lot that's jumping out at me, to be honest. Other than, the obvious Yankees, Red Sox is always a good time. Mariners, Sox. Hopefully, Mariners can pick up some wins that they most desperately need. And Dodgers, Astros. Hopefully, the Astros will pick up some losses that the Mariners also need.
I think that the three Astros Dodgers is a good one too, but I think the three that are going to be dope are going to be the Braves Mets, because the Mets are only 4 games back behind the Braves right now. And you got Guardians, Phillies, 2 first place teams, which I think is dope. Then obviously Yankees, Red Sox. So out of those 3, which one would I want to watch more? probably because of my AL East bias, I'll say Yankees, Red Sox. But then after that, I'd rather watch Mets, Braves. Maybe that's my East Coast bias.
Oh, I was gonna say I'd rather watch Guardians, Phillies.
I want to watch the Mets, Braves. I want to see not Gabriel Iglesias, Jose Iglesias sing "Oh My God." All right, before we make our primetime picks, here's where we are. I went 0 for 3, so I was so proud of being over 500. Now I'm 2 games under, and Lisa's 1 game behind me. She went 2 for 1 last week. So that being said, I did the intro first, so you get to make your picks. They're double dipping again. Yankees, Red Sox, starting to get a little old here. But
it is absolute. It's already been old. Let's see. This is tough.
Saturday on Fox, Sunday on ESPN, per usual.
I'm gonna go. Well, wait, hold on. Let me double check something.
Oh, we got advanced analytics. Are you looking at the production rating, postseason production rating?
Yeah,
for each
I
team?
actually do. I do my own stats, post production
She's
rate.
like hot
and
guy meter per team.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to see who they're playing midweek.
She's
Oh,
got like
Mets.
instead of WAR, it's like wins above replacement. It's more like wagon ass reduction.
I'm gonna pick the Yankees twice.
Wagon to ass ratio. What's their WAR? What's his WAR? Wagon to ass ratio. Which team has the best WAR? Yankees twice?
Yeah.
You're just ignoring me.
I know.
That's a stat you made. All right, screw you. I'll go Red Sox. Actually, I'm gonna split. Yankees Saturday, Red Sox Sunday. That's
Okay.
mine. And that's all
Probably
I
not
got.
that split.
That's all I got.
That's all
Actually,
you got.
can I take C
That's
backsies?
all I got.
Am I allowed to take C backsies? Jerk. They're at Fenway.
No, what are you gonna do? Red Sox twice?
I was gonna, but now I'm not gonna.
Oh, because they're at Fenway. I mean, you can. Go ahead.
Nope. Because you
Fine,
wanted to
I'll
hear what
allow
I
it.
was gonna say before you said I could do it or not. So now I'm not gonna. Yankees Saturday, Red Sox Sunday. That's mine. Outside of that, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No. Thank you for being here. If you made it this far, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do. And yeah, go check out Ant's All-Star Game video. See if you agree, if you haven't watched it already, even though it's over. And stay tuned this week.
For
I will
Lisa's.
be dropping a highly contested
Any-
moment in time.
Any hint? Any final hint? Give it to us.
I just gave you one
Highly contested moment in time.
in time.
Your hints are awful. You're like the video will be
Okay.
a video
What kind of hint do you want?
with audio.
And then I will. What kind of hint do you want?
I want teams or player that's involved.
Jeter is involved.
So is it going to be about the dynasty with the Yankees? Okay. Stay tuned for Lisa's video at the end of the week talking about the Yankees dynasty. And hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe. Be sure to come back and watch the next one. All right. See you guys.
Peace.
Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling different. Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling differently.